Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Off-Road Hub. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for watching today and for watching all my content if you've been with the channel for a while. I just was going over my YouTube statistics and the channel just reached 100,000 hours of watch time. That means people have spent 100,000 hours watching my content, and that is awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, if you're new to the channel, let me just catch you up. I am working on putting 1-ton axles under my 2010 Toyota FJ Cruiser out of an F350 and 42-inch tires. There's an Atlas transfer case under there. So this thing is going to be a beast. Now, some of you have wondered, is Ken really in his garage doing all this work by himself? Yes, he is. I am all by myself. No physical help here in the garage. I do get some informational help from a few people when I get stumped on something or I'm not sure what to do. So that's really helpful, but yep, I'm all by myself here in the garage. And since I've never done this before, it's taken, well, quite a bit longer than I anticipated, but that's okay. You know, whatever. It'll eventually get done, and I'll be out there on the trails again having a good time. So I've made a list of things I have to do still, and it's really not a very long list. So I think I'm getting pretty close. Some of these are more complex than others, and others are pretty straightforward and simple. So I need to get my front 3-links done, my front coilovers installed. That's going to be a tough one. Rear coilovers, those are going to be Frenched into the frame, so a little bit tricky. Front steering, my front steering is PSC full hydraulic steering. It shouldn't be too difficult, pretty straightforward, just some hydraulic circuits and the mounting the ram on the front axle. That shouldn't be too bad. Let's see, replacing the front fenders, having a little trouble. So I had a snorkel here, as some of you may recall. So I'm going to replace this front fender because, well, it doesn't look very good anymore without a snorkel on it. And then this one over here was dented up pretty bad, so I'm just going to put a new fender on there. New fender on both sides. And one thing about the snorkel, so I'm not going to have any new covering in here, so my intake is pretty exposed right there. And I'm not a big fan of that. So there may be a new snorkel going on. Not a safari style snorkel, but one that's under the fender and comes up here, much lower profile, and shouldn't be hitting things, and it doesn't require any drilling into the fender. So look forward to that. Let's see, fabricate body panels. So all that sheet metal I cut out of the back and out of the floor inside, I need to rebuild that sheet metal to conform to the new build. Painting, that includes the new sheet metal and all the parts underneath. I need to fabricate up a new front skid plate. So that'll be from the oil pan back to the transmission or so, and connect to the skid plate that I worked on for the Atlas a long time ago. And then I need to finish relocating the battery. Really, that's relocating wires. Moving the battery is not that difficult. It just moves to another spot. So really just doing all the rewiring. Rear frame plating. I need to reinforce where I put my 3-links in the back. I need to put some steel on the frame because the frame metal just isn't that thick and probably won't do a good job of supporting those brackets by itself. And then just little stuff like brake lines, bump stops, maybe some limit straps towards the end. And then I'm gonna see if it fits out of the garage door. I know a lot of you have been concerned that it's not gonna fit out of the garage door, but I think it will. So, especially if I let all the air out of the tires, not gonna be a problem. So there it is. When all this stuff is done, then my build will be done, and this stuff shouldn't take forever, so let's get to it. So for today, I'm going to focus my efforts on the rear frame plating. And if that goes really well and fast, then we'll move on to something else or some miscellaneous item like grinding. There's always more grinding to do. So in the back here, these lower links are just tacked on. I am going to weld them onto the frame, but if you only welded them onto the frame, they would probably end up peeling that metal right off because it's not very thick right here. So what needs to happen is I need to put some plates on both sides of these brackets that are welded up to the frame up here and come down and grab the bracket from above. That'll make it way stronger. So I'm going to do that on both sides of these lower brackets, and I'm going to have to take off my slider here because that's right where the plate needs to go. So I'll actually end up cutting this plate off the slider and welding my sliders on when I put them back on. I'll bolt them and I will also weld them, so they definitely won't be going anywhere, but they have to come off to get this plating done. Well, I've got one bolt left holding this thing on, and the nut on the inside of the frame is spinning, so I can't get that bolt out. This space is too small for a grinder to get into, so I'm trying to figure out how to break that off, because I don't think it's going to break off just by moving the slider around, but got to figure something out. Well, gravity never fails. That's one way to do it. These are pretty banged up and scraped up on the bottom. Having them off a vehicle will make it easier to get them all cleaned up so I can get them all scraped up again. Yet another nut spun inside the frame. At least it's on the bottom this time. All right, so now I've got plenty of room to put some plating up here. As you can see as an example, this is where the old lower link bracket was. See, I haven't got all this ground off yet, but you can see that even at the factory, even though the bracket was down here, they ran some plating up on the frame. So I'm essentially going to do the same thing for my brackets. So I took some cardboard and cut myself out a pattern, and there's about what it'll look like right there. Okay, here are those all cut out, and they fit down there great. These holes that are cut in here are for additional welds, so of course I'll weld around the perimeter of this, and that'll be great. But these provide more weld surface, and so you don't have all this dead space that's not welded. So you've got more weld holding it all together. So now I just got to get these lower brackets fully welded onto the frame so I can put on my plating. I got this side all welded on. Well, yeah, both sides of this side's bracket welded on. So now it's just a matter of putting this plate on here, so it's all welded all along here. And then I'm gonna put this plate on here that's gonna reach up on the frame and weld onto the bracket some more. And there's gonna be one on the other side of this bracket as well. So yeah, this bracket is definitely not going anywhere. Well, that's gonna stop me for the night. Dang it. All right, you can see what's happening here. This 3/16 plate being welded from the frame down to the bracket. The bracket's already welded on. It's gonna be pretty much invincible. I'll call that sloppy but sturdy welding. It's definitely sturdy, and that's what matters. Well, it's getting late and I'm out of welding wire. Sola says it's time for bed, I think. So, as is a common theme, I didn't get as much done as I had planned, but I'm making progress, and after welding all that together and putting that plate on the bracket, I'm pretty confident about that it's gonna be pretty much invincible. So, anyways, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed what I got done in this one. And if you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, so I can share new content with you every Monday and Thursday. And we'll see you next time, guys.
White snow